Hi friends, I'm back again with our second session. We are discussing about personality in language and translation market or a translation field. You know, if we go about studying the translation theories since beginning during the time of Aristotle, Babel and all, there has been development, in the psyche and thought process of theoreticians on translation studies. People used to focus in earlier time on word-to-word translation. And many times translations was done for, religious books. For example, Bible. For example, Quran. And for religious people as well as for, common masses. Touching religious text was a very dangerous zone. There has been time in our history when someone who has translated Quran and because of one mistake he did, he was killed because he has changed the discourse of the words of the God, Allah. Same thing happened while doing translation for Bible. People while doing translation, because of some reason, they were not able to convey the message, or they distorted the facts. Clergy, religious people, they got united out of fear, and that person was either exiled, put into jail, or executed, killed on public street, to create a fear among people so that nobody touches the religious part. Therefore, for a long period of time, Quran or Bible remained in its original form, in original language. They could not travel to different regions or different languages because they were not translated. They were a sacred thing. But later, slowly with the advancement of time, the concept changed. People started doing translation, but this was done word to word, comma to comma. Then later, people also started thinking about, no, it's word to word is not a good thing. Let's do it sense to sense. Because sense is more important than word. So there has been always this conflict, going on from ages between word to word and sense to sense. And people have been more focused on text. Later on, many theoreticians started developing, people started developing third stage, third space we call. Neither word nor sense. What about history? What about time? What about place? What about culture? What about the stages, of development in society? Because with development of, in society and the stages of development and changes, the meaning of word also change, it is never static. The day a language becomes static, it will go extinct. This is what has happened with Sanskrit, We started ignoring Sanskrit and we started maintaining the purity of the language. We failed to imbibe new words into it and customize it as the pace of the society developed. It became slowly obsolete and little popular. But Hindi has survived or is surviving because Hindi has imbibed, many new words from Persian, from Arabic, from Urdu, from English. So the more accepting we are from different cultures or different languages, the more language, that particular language rich it becomes. So with development, there came a time when people started saying, okay, we have it is enough of text from word, sense, third is space, cultural elements, social elements. What about personality of a translator? It is not only the text that matters, it is also the persona of a person who is doing the translation. If I am, influenced by certain ideology, if I am influenced by certain, psyche, if I have developed a bias towards Europe, against Europe, or bias against Pakistan, someone writing a good novel in Pakistan may be criticized by me as a translator. There, independently, in spite of all, control that I have, I will not be able to do justice because I have developed a strong bias against Pakistan, or I have developed a strong affinity for something. So I will not be able to do justice. Similarly, it can happen to my persona as a, a person who is from a village background. I may not be able to appreciate, the cosmopolitan culture of a Delhi or a, big metro city. Therefore, I will not be able to do justice to the text because I have already developed, certain bias. So there comes the development of a study of a persona of a translator. There is a writer, he's Algerian, based in France, called Bourdieu, Bordeiou. Please Google about his name. He has talked a lot about translator as a persona in society who is influenced by ideology, his education, his brought up, his childhood, his education, his girlfriend, his wife, his mother, his father. Everybody influences as a translator, So he cannot be independent, unbiased person. And only if we talk about text or a sense, it doesn't make a sense. If you are trying to understand text or a context or a translation of a work of any person by a translator, we need to study the persona. And that persona is also reflected on his face. In Hindi, we call it sanskar. But in Bourdieu concept, it is called doxa. D-O-X-A, doxa. And overall personality is called habitus. So please, understand these terms. Number one, Bourdieu, his sociological theory of power theory that he calls. Doxa is a term that shows in our personality. Habitus, the behavior pattern that we have. Sanskar, and power relations that play a role in influencing development of any persona, including a translator. Therefore, the importance of developing a video of translators comes into picture. So I want to take forward, the work, what he has done, Bourdieu has done, by bringing or shifting the focus of his studies of translation from text to the personality of the translator. Let's take his work forward and write a script on translators and literary figures, recognize him, study his persona or her persona, and talk about it. That there is lots of things to learn, from the persona of a translator or writer. If we are able to do it as a team, 100 people and 100 personas and their cult and personality, it is certainly going to make a big history again, my friends. So with this, I would like to thank you all for your time. And I hope very soon we will do another history. Any questions, any doubts, please welcome. I will stop the recording now. Question and answers, free to ask me.